When we have been traumatized, we don't just speak about it casually to anyone. We have to be ready. This is part 3 in a series called Readiness Conversations for Collective Healing or Group Healing. In the first video, I spoke about anger, how it is justified, how sometimes it can be very dangerous, as we have been seeing, how it can also be very functional, and how we sometimes can stay stuck in anger or rage and not move into the deeper levels of healing. Then in part 2, or the second video, I explained what a readiness conversation is and what are the kinds of things that we do or attempt to do when we hold readiness conversations. So in this video, part 3, I want to speak about where readiness conversations can be useful. So in personal healing journeys where a number of people are gathered, maybe it could be around the same issue, like it could be cancer recovery or it could be divorce, whatever the case may be. We need to ensure that people are ready before we open up painful memories. Now, of course, we don't always need people to retell the story over and over again in all the gory details, because that just adds to re-traumatization. But even when somebody hears somebody tell their story, somebody else in the group tell their story, they will begin to experience things in their body. And that is the reason why we use it for those kinds of healing journeys. But in groups or in a collective, we also conduct readiness conversations before we start tackling issues like race. Because race relates to, race, identity, sexual expression, all of those things really go to the core of who we are and our sense of belonging. And as a result, we know that it is a painful process. And so it would be irresponsible then to just assume that everybody's ready to talk about it, that everybody is able to express their emotions, their thoughts, their beliefs in a room and feel comfortable. So readiness conversations are most useful whenever there has been trauma, whenever the issue is a sensitive issue, and whenever we know that whatever process we're busy with is likely to trigger people, it's likely to remind them of deep trauma that they've suffered or that their community has suffered. And because we know, particularly with race, the trauma is intergenerational. So even if I'm dealing with a group of young people, I need to remember that the trauma of their previous generation and the generation before that, and we go back until we get to our ancestors that suffered really the most brutal forms of torture, all of that is in their DNA. All of that is inside of the room. So a readiness conversation is very necessary to test how willing, how able, how capacitated are the members of the group able to, or how capacitated are they to be able to handle what might come forward, because they may not be, and if they are not, then we need to do work, as I said in the previous video. I hope to see you in part